Hello, hello, everyone coming to us live and later. Thank you for joining us for yet another installment of our ongoing series, Hannon Inside Out. Today, I'm your interview host, Vero, student assistant for William H. Hannon Library. As I've said before and will always say, this is the spot to introduce and inform you of just who keeps Hannon happening. So sit back, maybe prepare yourself a snack because the next few minutes, entertainment is something you definitely won't lack. Today, I'm joined by Marie Kennedy, Serials and Electronics Resources Librarian within the Acquisitions and Collections Development Department. And I have to say, I cannot wait to find out more about what you do. You have such a nuanced title, not to mention your role in the Institute for Research Design and Librarianship, and its similarly named Incredibly Moving Speaker Series. But we'll have the opportunity to get into that later. Thank you for joining us. How are you
Yeah,
today?
this is great. Yeah, I'm loving it. And it's Friday, which means there's going to be a pizza later. So, how can this
Ooh.
day be bad?
I love it. Oh, wow, I miss pizza. I can't think the last time I've had pizza myself. So, let's get right into it then, if you're
Okay.
ready.
Yeah.
So when you tell people you work at a library, what kind of reactions do you get?
Well, okay. So, usually I preface this because if you say you're a librarian, it's like you could be 1 million different things. So, I try and help people out. And so usually I say something like, I work at the LMU library. I oversee all of the electronic resources. So all of the things you click on, like ebooks, databases, streaming videos. And my research area is studying the research networks that librarians create during their professional careers. And that's usually where people go, wow, wait, librarians do research? And then I'm like, well, if you're a librarian at a university, you most likely have a research agenda. So librarians at college and community colleges can also do research. It just depends on their rank. So if that institution's librarians are on a formal promotion program or are on the tenure track, they're doing research. And that's usually where people go, huh, I did not know that.
You learn something new every day.
Right? Yeah.
So how did you come to be a librarian?
Honestly, it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. So I had just gotten my master's of fine arts in photography at University of Texas at Austin. And then me and my husband moved to Gainesville, Florida, so he could get his PhD. We're a very well educated pair. So I got a part-time job in the law library as an assistant. And the people there helped me get a full-time job on the main campus, also as an assistant. And while I was working there, I approached my boss to ask her to write an article with me about a process I had developed as part of my job. And she said, okay, if you consider becoming a librarian, I'll consider writing the article with you. And that seemed like a fair deal. So we ended up writing the article. It got published, and I ended up going to library school. So it's my second master's degree.
I love it. Wow. Well,
But I
that's an
didn't mean it.
ultimatum.
It's like, circumstances, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Could you tell us more about your job at the library?
Yeah. Okay. So do you ever watch the Worth It guys on YouTube? Have you seen that show?
I've heard of them. I haven't seen like a full show, but I've heard of it in
Okay.
bits and pieces.
Okay. So one of the things they do, so they go and try some type of food at 3 different price points and then try and figure out which one they prefer best. Okay, so one of the things they do in the show, pretty much that's what I've done during the pandemic, is like I've caught up on all podcasts, YouTube shows, everything. So what I really like about their show is in the middle, they'll just like drop a fun fact about the food that they're going to eat. So let me I'll drop a fun fact about the stuff that I manage in the library. Okay, so Vero, how many ebooks do you think the library owns?
Ooh, I wanna say either 100,000 or upwards of that maybe?
Yeah, we own more than 500,000. So that's a lot. And I guess the fun fact is that we have almost as many print books in the collection as we do ebooks. So every year our ebook collection is growing, and soon it's going to surpass the number of print books we own.
Wow.
Okay, so that was the fun fact.
Very fun fact. I did not know that. I was just like,
and I love that I turned you on to the Worth It
yeah, I know.
show.
It's like, right in there. Yeah, that seems interesting. The more I think about it, I
Yeah.
was like, I knew that they did food, but I wasn't
Yeah,
sure what they really did with food.
yeah, it's great. One of my favorites is their pizza episode where they go eat like $1 slice of pizza and compare it to this pizza that has like gold sprinkled on it, which I can't even quite imagine.
I can't imagine that either. Huh. I will
Yeah,
look out for that episode to be my first, welcoming into that.
cool, cool, cool.
For sure.
All right. So basically my job, sorry, I'm segueing us.
No, you're good. You're good.
Let me answer the question you asked, which is what's your job? So my job is to make sure that all of the stuff, the ebooks, databases, journals, streaming video, gets loaded into the library catalog so you can find it. And also part of my job is to make sure all the links work. So when you click on it, it actually goes to something. So I'm part of the process from the start to the end. At the front end, I negotiate all of the contracts with our vendors to get the new stuff. And then at the end of the process, I facilitate, like at the end of each year, I collect usage statistics to see like, what are we using most? What are we using the least? That kind of stuff. And my job is a blast, and I work with the best team. It's pretty much, it's a funny position to have because I don't really do anything on my own. I'm always working like with some other member of the LMU library team. And I love that part about it. And also traditionally these kinds of jobs, it's in an area called technical services, and it's usually like behind closed doors. So we work pretty much independently. But I think of myself in this role as very patron focused. So like, it's rare that you'll see me at the Info Commons desk. But when I'm doing the work I'm doing, I've always got you all in mind. Like, how can I set this up and use the right descriptions so that you'll find it? So that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, no, I loved it. And when you said patrons like you, I was like, me?
Yes, you.
I loved it.
Aw.
Okay. Wow, all
Yeah.
right. Nuanced title, nuanced job position.
Yeah, it's a lot, and we manage so much stuff, and it's coming from all over. So like we'll buy a couple videos from this place, and then we'll buy like 10,000 ebooks from this place. So keeping it all kind of in track and working, it's a big job.
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
So now for our deep dive questions, if those weren't deep
Okay.
dive before, for
Okay.
those out there wondering, what was Vero talking about in that intro? IRDL? Huh? Would you
Yeah.
tell us what IRDL is?
Sure. Yeah. So it stands for the Institute for Research Design in Librarianship. It's a program that I started with our library dean, Christine Brancalini. I'd been reading a lot of journal articles written by librarians and noticed that some of the articles were really well written and others kind of weren't so great. And it made me wonder, like, how do librarians even learn how to do research? So I did my homework, and I found that only 60% of library master's programs require any research component as part of the program. But then I started thinking about it, like, yeah, in my own life, when I was in my own master's program, I did take a research course. But what actually did I remember about that course by the time, you finish my degree? I moved to California. I started my first job. And like when I was ready to do research, like that research methods class, it was all gone. Um, so, so I approached the library dean, Christine, and said, I think we can do something here. And that something turned out to be a nationally funded grant to create a continuing education program for academic and research librarians. It's a year-long program, and it starts with an intensive research training, the nuts and bolts about how to do a research project. And then we support all of the librarians throughout the year as they complete their projects. And the thing I love most about creating something like this is I love the community of practice that we're creating. So I don't know, heart emoji. Yeah, it's a really great part of my job.
I love it. How have you activated the IRDL network in the online environment to organize its speaker series, and just anything you have to say about the IRDL? I would love to hear,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. So what's great about developing this network as our community of practice, it means that we are intentionally situating ourselves alongside the scholars that have participated in IRDL to kind of learn together going forward. So I pitched this idea for a speaker series. I just sent everybody an email, and 10 people said, I want to work with you on this. So I ended up with working with 10 scholars, and we hosted 5 nationally known authors. And the purpose was to think critically about research and power, to understand our positionality as researchers in the research process. And we wanted the series of speakers to kind of shake up the foundation of traditional Western approaches to social science research, so that as we're thinking about our own research, we want it to be explicitly rooted in social justice, and we want to be using methodologies that are intentionally anti-racist and anti-colonial practices. So this series was really a source of inspiration for us. And it was open to the public, like the scholars and I put it together. And then we had it out on Zoom or on YouTube. You could stream it wherever. And it was fun just to see, like we had them addressing topics from their own research interests. But then at the end of each session, we had like a little question and answer period to kind of figure out, how do we tie what we just heard from you into our own research practices in librarianship? And so that was really fun. And we want to keep doing stuff like this.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Sorry. I'm like, I'm just blown away by just how much is going into this. And I mean, I saw a couple installments of that speaker series. So just
Yeah.
thinking about just how much was behind it all, it's just incredible. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
I feel like I should say thank you.
Oh, stop.
I have to know, how has that experience been impactful? I can only imagine what it must be like to build an entire network.
Yeah, the network is fun. I guess one of the surprises that we had was, so each year we have like between 20 and 25 scholars that come into the program. So they move through in year-long cohorts. And one of the things we didn't expect is that, I mean, if we thought about it, yeah, we would have come up with this idea, but we were surprised to find that scholars from one cohort connect with other scholars from another cohort. Like I happened to be on Twitter and I was scrolling through, this is a couple years ago, and I saw a few of the scholars all tweeting about this New York conference that was going on. And it was a few of the scholars, and I was like, I didn't even know they knew each other, because they were from different cohorts. They lived in different parts of New York, but they'd gotten together for this regional conference. And so the community kind of builds itself, because everybody that comes into it is at a certain point in what they know about research. And it's kind of like you can rely on the rest of the network to help you out. It's pretty common for, like, we have a closed Facebook group. So when somebody's putting together a survey, they'll put in the group, can somebody review my survey and give me feedback? And so that goes to all of the scholars. So it's not just their cohort that's giving feedback. And so that's been a fun, like, surprising part of this, is that really everybody's all in. Yeah.
That's really impactful, just to see how what you did just coming together to form a community of the same people, the same people that you helped with this IRDL program. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And
It's like
yeah,
having
and
different classes and then finding out, oh, they all know each other.
yeah, it was really funny. And it's I definitely did not do any of this alone. Like, Christine has been my research partner. She's been my grant partner in kind of ramping this all up. Carol Raby's involved. John Jackson was actually in one of the cohorts. So, like, none of this happens just by one person, that's for sure.
I
Yeah.
love that. It takes a village. It takes a community.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess if I have any last questions, do you have anything to say to our viewers watching now? Like, any advice for students? Just anything on your mind, maybe.
Ooh. Well, I guess it's a really stressful time right now. You know, pandemic. So I guess a good reminder is, I guess, to think that our library workers have got you. So if I'm talking to students right now, I would say to keep that in mind. And if you're not sure who to reach out to for research help or homework help, stuff like that, even if you're not sure how that you've got the, like, how to ask the right kind of question, we don't care. We're there for you. So if you just go to the library's main page and drop a chat into the ask at LMU librarian in that chat box, we'll help you out. And we mean that sincerely, like, your success is our success. So I guess that would be a word of advice or a last thing I'd want to share.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Our
Yeah.
library consultation, we have
Yeah.
so many people working behind the scenes to keep Hannon happening.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah. So
Vero, I guess I wanted to ask you, you mentioned that you were thinking about becoming a librarian.
I am, yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. Well, do you want to, like, maybe we should, I guess we're kind of running out of time. Maybe we should talk offline. I'd love to hear more.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I didn't expect
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
All right. So
Surprise.
that concludes
I
today's
said
segment
we
of
really
Hannon
care.
Inside Out. Thank you again for joining us. And please check out our website, library.lmu.edu, for upcoming event details, for anything you need, really. And subscribe to our newsletter in case you'd like to receive notifications on the up and coming for William H. Hannon Library. Thank you all so much. And bye. See you next time.